Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for my client Lewis's vlog. And we started off with a long pause bench, which he did get a PR on this. Now I had him do longer pauses on both of his max effort lifts today, keeping in mind he doesn't have a lot of equipment, we don't have a lot of variation, so I have to do things like pauses and stuff. And he got a decent pause here, right about what I wanted. I wanted him to give me a 3-count pause. And when I'm giving my people max effort benches, particularly people without a lot of equipment, and oftentimes even my people who struggle with pausing on the bench, like a lot of guys, let's talk about that for a minute. A lot of guys will not pause on the bench. So I start prescribing different max effort lifts to where I want a 2-second pause. That's a different max effort lift. A 3-second pause, and then when I get them to actually do that, I tell them, okay, throw away all your touch and go benches that you counted as PRs for the last year, throw them in the trash, erase them, they don't count, because a touch and go bench doesn't count. But I do like to see at least a brief pause. I will still count it as a different lift than say a 3-count pause. But to Lewis's credit, he did the full 3-count, and this is something coaches will laugh because they know when you give male lifters under about the age of 35 a long pause, and you tell them, I want you to pause for 2 full seconds on your chest, it's going to be a half second. They're not even going to pause for a full second. And then they'll tell you, well, I swore it was 2 seconds. I mean, I'm looking at the video, I think it was 2 seconds. They'll actually do that. So, it's just funny. It's the truth of it. But to his credit, he did the 3-count pause. So I'm going to give him credit for that. A lot of guys won't do it. Afterwards, we did just normal benching, and I wanted him to pause on every rep because we need to bring his chest up. And then afterwards, he's doing these JM presses. He's still learning the movement, but, all things considered, I think he's getting it down pretty good. And again, for those who don't know Lewis's backstory, if you care, go watch the first vlog. So again, vlog number 1 for him. Keeping in mind, this is someone who got really sick, surgery, who I had already been coaching for months, who ran into a bunch of issues. He's got some metal pins put in since during his break from being able to train. Yeah, so it's been a little bit of a rough ride, but he's back in. He's doing the work. He's putting it in. I may not always be happy with his form, and I do ride his ass about his form on some of these movements, particularly the ones that I'll mention in here. But it's because I need him to be successful, right? I need him to get in and do this stuff right. And again, that's part of coaching sometimes, and it's because he is still struggling with stuff like the pull-throughs, and I'm still not real happy with him, so we're working on it. But a lot of this stuff is improving, okay? So on this day, we also do dumbbell rows, and we do lateral raises and then some band press downs. And his movements are basic and they get the job done, right? He's on conjugate with very minimal equipment, and we can get away with that for now. But I've told him, I'm like, you're either going to need to go join the local gym again that you trained at for a while, or you're going to need to get a better rack, because it's going to get dangerous for him. Okay, as he gets stronger, his rack setup is not going to be safe, particularly when we're running conjugate and maxing. And, and he's aware of that. So he's going to work on that. But it's going to have to be one or the other. But we are working around equipment limitations. And so we make it work, though. So everything is pretty basic. And there's other things I can rotate in as necessary for a bit, to keep him from stalling. So here we are with a pause squat. I wanted him to pause on this. Again, I'm kind of happy with the pause, I think. Look at that. Good little pause. Now there's a little bit of a double bounce there after, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Can't do that in a meet, but you also aren't going to pause in a meet, so who cares? All right, I have him do a little bit of extra lat work, so we do some inverted rows on this day. And again, I'm trying to get him stronger at these so that he can eventually be strong enough to do some pull-ups or chin-ups. We do good mornings. So again, when we only have a straight bar, we don't have chains, we don't have slings to put under, we don't have all the fancy stuff that I'd like to have, but we make it work. And you know what? If your shoulders can handle it, barbell good morning with a straight bar, perfectly fine. He's young, he's healthy, he's got good shoulders right now. Right? We can get away with this. Just got to watch his shoulder health. Now, the lunges, or really these are dumbbell split squats. These have improved. He's finally getting the range of motion that I want. Look at that. He's below parallel. He's coming up. All right. I'm pretty happy with this. I'd like to see him lock a little better, but he also has really long legs. He gets tall. You know, he's got longer legs. It is actually, on this movement, it's kind of hard to lock when you have longer legs. And at the very least, he's getting the depth that I want now, which means we are getting the quad development. We're getting that lengthened position that we need. So again, I'm happy to see the improvement. All right, we do hanging leg raises. And it's good. He's got this whole dip and chin up station. I used to have him do dips and stuff. Right now, I'm not worried about dips. I'll rotate him in if need be as a supplemental lift. Like right now, I'd rather him focus on, some incline work. I think it addresses his overall development better at the moment. But he does have the ability to do dips there, and we may work him back in. But we also have the convenience of this little station he has. And these are kind of useful, I think, particularly for novices, because we have the hanging leg raises and all that right there together. When he doesn't have a big full rack to hang stuff off of, it's pretty convenient to have those because they're cheap. They can't handle a lot of weight, but you see them everywhere. They're cheap. For people on a budget with a tighter space and who are still somewhat novice, those are pretty useful. All right, the band pull-throughs, I'm still not 100% happy, and I'm still trying to fix the way he grips this. And again, I'm not gonna write him about it in the vlog. He gets enough of that from me as a coach outside the vlog, so I'm not going to do that. Other than to say I would like these to be improved a little bit. But we've seen improvements on all these other lifts. Those J-Young presses were really stricter than I do them, to be fair. Like, let's be honest here. We're getting the range of motion I want to see on the split squats. We're getting good pauses, so I'll take it. All right, speed bench, he runs a pretty typical rotation, and because this video runs a little long and his stuff is kind of rudimentary, I take a lot of the supplemental work out of the vlog, just add in a little bit of the other stuff like that we don't see on the other days. So after speed benching, I have him do incline, and he's at a 45 degree. Again, young guy with good healthy shoulders. I like incline. Particularly if you're weak at the very bottom of the bench. Plus, it'll help fill out his delts, upper chest, everything else. Incline's an all around good lift. It's always weird. I always see people who occasionally, it's funny, I've had guys who are bodybuilders say, you prescribe incline a lot. I'm like, yeah. It's not really just a bodybuilder movement. It's a good powerlifting and strength movement, right? It's a good exercise. Not everyone's shoulders can handle it all the time, but for people who don't have issues with it, it doesn't seem to ever bother their shoulders at all. So, hey, great. If you can do inclines, it's a valuable exercise. I'm a fan. Both barbells and dumbbells. In fact, I've been known to prescribe them a lot, even to my power lifters. And of course, I'm showing his J-Young presses here to show that he's working on them. Like I said, I'd like to see his fist up a little more, but he's getting them up on most of the reps, just a little bit. Otherwise, they're really textbook perfect. All right, and then of course we have dynamic effort lower day is his last day of the week. He does speed squats on a box. Got him pretty deep. He's below parallel, and I'm fine with that for now. I want him deeper on him. Eventually, if he's in a different gym setup, I might let him go a little higher on those. But I'm happy with those for now. Speed pulls, we're doing conventional this block. And then of course he does all the same supplemental lifts we did before, including the good mornings. So I hope this has been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.